Okay, November 4th, 2025. What a day in politics. They say sometimes a day in politics is equivalent to a month in real life. Let's break it down. It was budget day, so we'll get into that. But first, a little political drama. Former Conservative MP Chris D'Entremont has left the Conservative Party. He threw a hissy fit, said he wanted to be deputy speaker, didn't get what he wanted, so he crossed the floor to the Liberals. Yeah, so that's a real smart move, Chris. You know what can't be bought or replaced? Integrity. Yeah, that's right, Chris. If you were unhappy or you somewhere got the memo that being an MP is about what you want and it's about you, wrong-o. It's about representing a riding. And the people in your riding elected a Conservative MP. And you are a sellout, my friend. So good riddance, because I'm sure the Liberals will super trust you. I think the right term is rat, dirty rat. Anyway, moving on. Mr. Carney and his amazing fiscal outlook. Remember this guy, that banker? He's going to fix all our economic problems. Yeah, he was the same guy that was giving Justin Trudeau financial advice for the last 10 years. How's your groceries? How's your housing? How are your taxes? Does life feel more affordable? Ooh, what's that number there? What's that deficit number? 78 billion. Wow-wee! You sure blew that promised 43 billion. No, then it was 60 billion. Wow. Anyway, that works out to about $5,400 per household. But let's really break it down, because what's these numbers we speak of? 78 billion. Bear with me, we're going to have a little financial lesson. What is the debt to GDP ratio? Well, the debt to GDP ratio is like when you have a credit card and you put a whole bunch of money on your credit card, but you really didn't have the money to pay for all that you put on your credit card, and then you barely make the minimum payment every month, so your interest accrues and you end up having to owe more than you're making, right? So you have more debt than you actually have coming in. So if you make, a couple $1,000s a month, but you owe $3,000, that's not a good debt to GDP ratio. And that's what Mark Carney gave you. In 2015, when Justin Trudeau took power and the Liberals took power, it was sitting at around 31%. With Mark Carney being a banker and all, he thought, I got to get a higher mark. I got to aim higher. Just for the record, higher's bad. Higher's not good. So now we're sitting at around 43%. Yay, Banker Mark. And here's the thing, guys. If it gets too high, which it's doing, and that's not just me saying that, I'll tell you that in a second, you are paying more on interest than you are in funding programs. So these people who say they're empathetic and care about helping the most vulnerable, they're the ones that are getting the shaft more than anyone else. Because guess what we're paying more on? We're paying more on interest than we are in healthcare transfers. And I don't know if you've been to a hospital lately, but healthcare in Canada, not getting a very great grade. Also a great time to remind everybody that the government doesn't have any money, right? So these budgets of these billions of dollars that none of us can really comprehend, that's your money. It is not the government's money. The government does not have any money. Long and short of it is, folks, this is gloomy. This is nothing what was promised. This is nothing what you voted in. It's kind of like Chris D'Entremont. It's not what you voted for. And it's disappointing, and you are the one that's going to pay the price. The reality is this budget is going to pass because the NDP and the Bloc are probably going to support it or abstain, which means you're going to be stuck with this bill. And we are going to have to figure this out together, because even though food bank usage is the highest it's ever been in history, it's going to get worse, guys. Unemployment numbers are going to go up. The parliamentary budget officer wasn't kidding. The parliamentary budget officer, for those who don't know, nonpartisan, just this guy that analyzes how the finances of the country are.
Be concerned. It's a really serious day, right? This is the first time in 30 years that we've tabled an economic and fiscal outlook where the fiscal anchor of the general and probably most important fiscal anchor for any government is a declining or at least stable debt to GDP ratio. And this is the first time in 30 years that I've seen one in which that ratio is going up over time. So that's definitely a cause for concern.
We're in this, guys. And Mark Carney is nothing what he promised you. He is nothing what he promised you. We all got catfished. Okay, not all of us got catfished. Some of us may have said, I told you, I warned you, and here we are. So we're going to have to stick in it together. We're going to have to use independent media. We're going to have to share facts. We're going to have to stick to the facts, because these liberals are going to try to gaslight you every which way to Sunday. When they tell you they believe in Canada, their actions show you otherwise. They are hurting the most vulnerable. And that is not me just saying that. That is disabled advocates, people speaking out for the disabled, because they're being offered MAID instead of healthcare. Why? Because we have a terrible economy. IPV victims of domestic violence are being murdered because the people are out on bail. And you know what a lot of relationships struggle with? Finances. You see, guys, when the economy is shit, everything is shit. Because all you need to do is look at the results, because the words that are coming out of their mouth does not match what's happening here in Canada.